Welcome to the Go Slow to Go Fast Lifestyle Podcast, the space where we breathe deep, move slow, and embrace the sacred rhythm of intentional living. I'm your host, Kendra Chapman, and today I'm sharing about my spiritual path and how it's been unfolding for the last 25 years or so, and how it's deepened for me, at least in this year that I've turned 50. And if you're in a season of life where the external hustle has started to feel empty and your soul is whispering for something more connection, more peace, more meaning, this episode is for you. We're going to explore what spiritual wellness looks like without needing structure from organized religion. And just you, it just needs you. Nature, stillness, source, and the quiet wisdom you already carry within you. So we're going to talk about cultivating spiritual presence through daily rituals rooted in nature, reframing prayer as a sacred asking, practicing meditation as deep listening, and learning about how to trust your inner knowing as the most divine compass of all. And then I'm going to share what's bringing me hygge, and then we'll talk about how you can connect with me. So let's dive in, everybody. So what's bringing me hygge this week is basically sunsets. I've been enjoying the weather where it's been cooler temperatures. We've not had to have the air conditioning on too much lately. We've had some rains in Middle Tennessee, and it's been cooler at night in the last couple of days. And so I've been enjoying the sunsets and cooler temperatures, and it's just really nice. I know summer's coming soon enough, but I really enjoy that time between spring when everything pops out and it's green and it's blooming, and I'm definitely enjoying the sunsets these days. They're really beautiful, like cotton candy skies is what we're seeing over here. So I just like to sit on my back porch with no agenda, just breathing, listening to birds and the stillness as the world winds down. I like to sit with my palms open and just think, what do I need to know about today? What do I need to know about tomorrow? And then just listen. That spiritual awareness doesn't need to be a big thing, doesn't need to be performative. It just needs to be something that I do routinely. I need to do it consistently to where I feel like I'm filling up my cup and I'm checking in with God, universe, source, whatever you call it. I call it spirit, but it's just that awareness of something bigger than me and bigger than the world. And I've been doing some research on different ways that people are connecting to spirit or in their pursuit of spirituality. And there's a reference to a Dr. Lisa Miller who reminds us that even small spiritual moments are tied to resilience. They lower depression and add a greater sense of purpose to our life. So it's not about doing more. It's about noticing the little things more. So in my hygge highlight segment, this will be all about a spiritual past that I've been experiencing probably for the last 25 years. But first, I want to take you on a journey of my process, because this didn't begin in silence or with a sunrise or a sunset. It started in Catholic school, to be honest. Growing up Catholic, I was born into Catholicism, and like many kids raised in religious homes, I didn't choose it. I inherited it. And Catholic school, Sunday Mass, uniforms, rituals, the whole deal, it was all just part of life and what I grew up with. And by high school, I would definitely say by middle school, by eighth grade, I was definitely rolling my eyes at the incense and the singing along in church, just because I would be giggling with my girlfriends because we'd be in school together all day. And sometimes we would go to mass during the school day and then definitely on Sundays. So I can just remember when we would get together on the weekends and we would sing Billy Joel's Only the Good Die Young with that special brand of teenage rebellion, right? That only Catholic girls know. I enjoyed singing in the choir and I enjoyed the practices and the rituals, but you become a teenager and you start to question everything. So I definitely scoffed at the rules and the rituals, but they did stay with me. I remember traveling as a young adult in college and beyond and thinking, I can walk into any Catholic church anywhere in the world and I'm going to feel like I'm at home. And that was comforting to me. I remember that going to Mexico and working there for 5 months. I could go to church and I felt at home. Churches are a little different, even though many are Catholic. They embrace the ritual around death, depictions of their death or suffering. So it was very interesting to me. I didn't see that in American culture, but I definitely saw that in the Latin culture in Mexico. So that was different. But in every other aspect, I always felt at home in the Catholic Church. Something grounded me in that rhythm of the ritual of the Mass and what you would hear at Mass, what the priest would say, and how you would respond. Like all of that is very familiar in any Catholic church that you go into. But then 9/11 came, and that was a time in my life where I started questioning a lot of my faith because I personally lost a family member, one of my cousins in the World Trade Center. He was weeks from his 30th birthday. His death was very tragic and it was very traumatic and it was also televised. So my family had to witness this over and over again because it was on the TV for months after and years, definitely around the anniversaries. So I would start questioning at that time. I remember questioning, where was God? Why would something so awful like this happen? Not just to my family, but to my country. And then I started questioning, like, what exactly do I believe? And then there were the church scandals, right? The betrayal of everything sacred. And it just kind of didn't sit right with me. So I stopped going to church for a while and I started searching for something else. I started looking for ways to still embrace spirit and embrace God source energy, but just not going to church in an organized way every Sunday. And so I started searching for something else. And the search led me inward. I discovered meditation, not as an escape, but as a sacred listening. And I realized that showing up for others through education and service, which is what I went into for my profession, it often felt more spiritual than sitting in a pew. And so spiritual wellness, I learned, didn't need a steeple. It didn't need a church, a building, brick and mortar building. It just needed me to be focused on how I was helping others and how I was making myself better every day. And so I learned to find God source energy outside, walking barefoot in the garden, lighting a candle at sunset or at daybreak, laughing with my family, outside on the back porch, watching the sunrise in silence. Those were all the moments that I was starting to realize I could just really focus on the little things and the little miracles that happen every day. And I found my peace and I found the quiet moments were going to be my church for a while. And so I just let nature be my sanctuary. There's no better spiritual teacher than the earth, in my perspective. The trees remind us to root deeply and rise slowly. The moon reminds us that we don't always need to shine to be powerful, right? There's the dark moments too. The wind reminds me that we don't have to be seen to have impact. because we're always there. We just may not always be active and seen all the time. Instead of seeking spiritual connection in a book or a building, I began by walking outside, breathing deeply, listening, feeling, and letting nature show me that I already belong to something holy. And this is where my soul feels safe. And outside really is my temple right now. Nature is my church. It's my temple. It's the place where I like to go to become more calm and centered. And I really turn within. I've been working on redefining prayer as a sacred asking instead of just saying all the things that I want, like a laundry list. I think of prayer as an energetic alignment. It's not, please fix this. It's, show me how to grow through this. It's, open my heart to what's next. It's, guide me towards peace. And really asking God, source energy, like at this stage of my life, prayer is going to become more of a conversation than a request. And so you don't have to know how to pray. You just have to speak from your soul. And asking with humility and trust that the answer will come is a sign, right? It can come in signs, synchronicities, or sudden clarity. And I'm seeing that more and more these days as I sit in silence and I ask God source energy to show me what I need to know. And then I listen. And that's the next thing, is practicing meditation is more of a listening and integration practice. Because if prayer is the asking, then meditation is the listening. And so this isn't about sitting cross-legged for an hour, because I can't sit for an hour. I can't sit still for an hour. I might do it for 20 minutes tops, but it's about turning into silence and making space for wisdom to land. Even 5 minutes a day with your hand on your heart and breathing in your belly. I put one hand on my heart and one hand on my belly and I breathe in. Try to do my box breathing method where I breathe in for 4 and I hold it for 4 and I exhale for 4 and then I hold it for 4. And then I repeat that with my hand on my heart and my other hand on my belly. And I just think, as I breathe in enlightenment and exhale anything negative from my body, may I hear that inner voice or hear from God's source energy what the next step is or what I need to know. And then sometimes I will journal. I'll do some writing and information will come to me as well. And I feel like I have more enlightenment and more messaging that comes through that way sometimes too. But, here's the secret. The message from source or God source energy is already coming through you. You just need to slow down enough to hear it, right? And once you receive, apply what you hear. Let that insight guide you on how to show up, how to choose, and how you rest, and how you play, and how you show up in the world, right? And once you receive, do the next best thing that makes sense for you. Because my spiritual path at 50 is just about walking in this space at this sacred midpoint of life. Because at 50, we're no longer chasing titles or checklists. We're craving depth, presence, and peace. And I want to feel alive, not just appear accomplished. I'm not trying to become somebody else. I'm just trying to remember who I am. And I remember as a kindergartner in Catholic school singing "This Little Light of Mine, I'm Gonna Let It Shine," right? And I think that message in that song is so powerful. That's all God source energy wants us to do, is let our light shine. And I think, I go back to that as a kindergartner. I just saw God source energy as this big ball of light in the sky. Like I thought it was the sun. And that's how I saw God. And that's how I still see God, is nature. It's just in lots of different forms of nature. So what I believe now at 50, I believe in an ever-loving, ever-present God, source, energy, universe. I believe in the healing power of stillness, nature, and breath. Because as I breathe in every day, that's life, and I exhale, right? I can keep doing that. My body's doing it naturally, but if I'm more aware of what I'm doing, then I'm aware of that miracle every day. It's just those little things, being aware in deep rest and wide skies, in the silence that somehow speaks the loudest, right? And so I'm just trying to be still more in my life and be more aware of my surroundings and what's going on with me so I can be more grateful of every second of every day, of every week, of every month, of every year. So I can really embrace what's happening around me and recognize those miracles because they're happening all around me. I just have to notice them. So I think that's it for me today. Hopefully this wasn't, boring for you, but I think it's helpful to think about slow living and having a intentional lifestyle. For me, also includes the spiritual aspect, and I wanted to speak to that today. So I hope this resonated with you and that you're still listening. And if you are, I hope that you find this as a helpful reminder of how everything is within you, and all you have to do is just check in on a continual basis consistently and fill your cup with what resonates with you and what inspires you and what brings you joy. And I'm hoping that you can find it out in nature or find it in your children's laugh or your coworkers' joy as you collaborate, or with your partner or whomever you want to spend time with, and whatever you want to do with your time, that you're finding joy and that you're going slow to go fast in this journey we call life. So I want to hear from you. I want to hear what spiritual wellness looks like for you right now. Is it in your garden? Is it in your breathing or in your journal with writing in your journal? Or is it walking outside at dusk or daybreak? I'd love to keep the conversation going. I hope that you'll consider emailing me at coachingwithkendrachapman@gmail.com, or visiting my website with the same name, coachingwithkendrachapman.com, or checking me out on Instagram at coachingwithkendrachapman. And if this episode brought a little light into your day, please share it with someone or everybody you know who's walking their own spiritual path. Take it slow, be intentional, and let the stillness speak to you. And the sacred in me honors the sacred in you. And as you head into the rest of your week, I hope you let your light shine through. And until next time, go slow to go fast. And thanks for listening.